There's one thing I keep noticing over and over again in people who struggle with money their entire lives. They repeat the same phrases almost automatically. And the scary part is that these phrases work like hidden programming that quietly destroys their financial future. In this video, I'll show you 5 phrases that make people poor, explain why they're dangerous, and what you should say instead if you want to level up your discipline, mindset, and financial life. Phrase 1. Someone else handles that for me. It could be a partner, a friend, an accountant, or an advisor, it doesn't matter. On the surface, it sounds reasonable. Someone who knows better is supposedly taking care of things. But there's a huge difference between delegating and completely checking out. People often think they're being efficient by letting an expert handle it, when in reality they've simply stepped out of their own financial life. They assume that someone else will always make the right choices, always act in their best interest, always understand what they want even without their involvement. But no one, not even the most competent or well-intentioned person, knows your real fears, your long-term goals, what trade-offs you're willing to make, what financial security means to you. When you disconnect from your finances, you lose confidence and control. Money becomes something that happens to you instead of a tool you control. You can delegate tasks, but you must always understand what's happening, when it's happening, and what it means for your life. Phrase 2. Money doesn't matter to me. When someone says money doesn't matter, it's almost always avoidance. It's an attempt to hide from the topic and pretend it's irrelevant. But the truth is that money buys freedom, choice, safety, opportunity. It allows you to get through crisis without panic, help the people you care about, and avoid a lifetime of financial stress. Ignoring money doesn't make you above it, it just puts you at risk. You don't have to worship money, but if you know how to manage it, you actually think about it less and live freer. Phrase 3. I'm just bad at this. This is one of the biggest self-inflicted barriers to financial growth. When someone says, I'm just bad with money, they're really giving themselves permission not to try. It's a comfortable escape from learning something new, but that comfort keeps them stuck exactly where they are. This is what's called a fixed mindset, the belief that your abilities are set in stone. But financial literacy isn't a talent, it's a skill, just like driving or cooking. No one is born understanding investments, taxes, or compound interest. People who become financially successful are simply those who decided to learn and refused to quit even when it felt uncomfortable. Replace I'm bad at this with I'm learning. It seems like a small shift, but it completely changes your mindset and your results. Phrase 4. It's too late to start. When someone says it's too late, what they really mean is, I regret not starting earlier and I don't want to face that feeling. It's not a fact, it's an excuse. People imagine what their money could have looked like if they had started in their 20s and then decide there's no point in starting now. But this mindset is extremely dangerous because it leads to paralysis. Instead of using the time they do have, they end up doing nothing at all. Wealth is built from 3 ingredients: time, how much you contribute, how consistently you do it, and 2 out of 3 are still completely under your control. I've seen people start in their 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, even 60 seconds, and they still achieved financial freedom. Not because they had decades ahead of them, but because they finally acted with discipline and consistency. The mistake isn't starting late. The mistake is not starting at all. Phrase 5. I can't afford it. This is the most common phrase, and most of the time, it's simply untrue. When someone says, I can't afford it, it sounds like an objective fact, but in reality, it usually means, this is not where I want my money to go right now. This phrase puts you in victim mode, as if money decides your choices instead of you. But when you replace it with, This isn't a priority for me right now. Everything changes. Responsibility returns. Your real values become visible. Your spending suddenly makes sense or doesn't. If someone says, I can't afford to invest, but buys the newest iPhone the same month, then investing wasn't impossible. It simply wasn't a priority. Being honest with yourself is uncomfortable, but honesty is where discipline begins. And discipline is what makes you wealthy in the long run. Final message. These are 5 phrases that keep people financially stuck. If you've said any of them in the last 24 hours, comment which one and what you plan to change. The way you speak about money shapes your habits, and your habits shape your future. Change your words, and you change your life.